Hi. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to start. I'm just gonna dive in because otherwise I'm just gonna keep spiraling and not knowing how to start this video. So let me just dive right in. Hello, my name is Joita. I am so glad that you are here. This is a video talking about my experience in a QHHT session where I learned that I am a Sirian Starseed Second-Wave volunteer here to anchor light. And if you resonate with this information, you might be a starseed as well. And if you are interested in exploring a QHHT session for yourself to help you reveal the answers that are already within you, I invite you to take a look at the link below and contact me if you're interested in booking a session. These sessions are absolutely incredible, and this is speaking from my direct experience, my direct personal experience, my direct personal testimony. So this isn't hearsay. This isn't anything I read in a book. This is my direct experience. And I have been sitting on this information since exactly October 14th. And I know, and I knew at the time that I needed to share this because it's so unbelievably expansive and mind-boggling, but beautiful in the same way. And I just know there's other people, millions of other people out there that feel alone or feel like they don't belong or feel like, what the heck is Earth? Like, where am I? I don't feel like I belong here. So hopefully this video can give you a little bit of peace of mind because you are not alone. And we actually might be soul fam. So that's kind of exciting if you're resonating with this content. So let me rewind. Okay, so a little bit about myself, just a brief introduction. So I've always been very, very, very sensitive throughout my entire life. I am almost going to be 41. This month, actually, January, I'm going to be 41. And through the 4 decades on this planet, I have always felt different, extremely sensitive, extremely emotional about certain things. I've always felt like I really didn't belong and I wasn't really understood, like my entire life. I just remember always having these really big feelings about things, especially, you know, intolerance to violence or people that are unkind, and really not understanding why and how people can inflict harm on others, or just not even understanding, you know, those types of things. And throughout my life in, you know, my adolescence, I had friends, right? But I never really felt connected on a soul level to many people. I had like the friends, right? In high school, passive friends, and all the drama that goes along with high school friendships, lovely. And in college, always felt really alone there too, and started feeling really depressed and anxious in my early 20s, actually in college. So 18 through my 30s have always felt just anxious, and like I knew I had something to do, but I never really understood why. And in my life, I've had over 13 jobs. I've worked everywhere from a nursing home to, I was a server at a restaurant, to a law firm, to a tanning salon, to an insurance company. I was a flight attendant, many other things. I've worn many hats, and I was always trying to find what was of interest to me, how I can serve humanity, but also have a really fun time and make life flourish, make life feel abundant, right? So it wasn't until basically I was listening to Dolores Cannon. I used to go on these really long walks in the summer. This was summer of 2023, and I would just listen to Dolores Cannon's metaphysical hour recordings. I would listen to her lectures. I would read her books, Convoluted Universe, and something about that information completely had me hooked. And it felt so nourishing and so warm to listen to her talk about past lives, to the conception of humanity, essentially, and how we are able to, through this quantum healing hypnosis technique, go through our previous lives or previous experience and understand why certain things have happened, understand why we behave the way that we do. And the best part about it is being able to have that open channel and receive direct guidance from your benevolent team of guides, your angels, source directly, and obviously the higher self, which is always with us, always nurturing us, always caring for us. We just don't know, or we do know, but we don't know because we've been programmed, to say the least, to forget our gifts, to forget our powers, to forget the immense amount of love that is continually surrounding us. So when I started listening to her information, I knew that I wanted to have a QHHT session for myself. And I think I had at that point reached out to a couple practitioners, but it just didn't end up working out. And then cut to May of 2025 is when I finally was like, you know what, I'm gonna take the QHHT training myself. This is way too fascinating for me to just, brush under a rug. And boom, I became a practitioner. Within a couple of weeks, I was seeing my very first clients in my internship. And now I am a level 2 at the time of this recording, a level 2 practitioner, and I've seen almost 30 clients. And through this experience, it has been so unbelievably incredible. It has been so unbelievably incredible to be able to receive such guidance, for my clients to be able to receive such empowering guidance, to be able to receive answers to things that have been weighing on one's heart and confusion. And I always felt like this, but I never understood why. And then within one session, clarity and understanding, being able to descend in one's consciousness. There's nothing better than that. It is so unbelievably beautiful. So my experience was on October 14th, I was hosting a session for a QHHT fellow practitioner / soul sister. And I was the one that was the practitioner and she was the client. And we were going through, the induction into the hypnosis, and we had beautiful communication almost immediately with her higher self. And it's always such a joy being in the practitioner seat to communicate and to have a conversation with the higher self, because it's always so wise and beautiful and benevolent and warm. And it's a very fun thing because I love just to have that dialogue. So I'm chatting, and they had mentioned that they are on a ship because my particular client, practitioner friend, has intergalactic origins. So it was explaining, we're on the ship. This is where she likes to be. And I said, I would love to be on the ship. Take me on the, and then the higher self said a comment of like, Joita, we understand, or we would love to have you on the ship too. And then I was like, you think I'm joking? And I sat back and I'm like, haha, giggling. And the higher self was like, Joita, I want you to do something. I want you to sit back and I want you to close your eyes. And in this moment, I'm getting like full body chills just reliving this, because in this moment, I'm like, okay, you want me to close my eyes? And I'm in practitioner mode, right? Even though it's my fellow, colleague in QHHT, fellow practitioner, in that moment, it's like you don't want to surrender control because you're the one that's responsible for them being under the hypnosis, right? So but I didn't want to disrespect the higher self. I wanted to know what it had in store for me. So I sat back and it was like, tell me what you feel. And I'm like, I feel really good. I just feel a lot of like heat coursing through my body. And at this point I noticed that I started sweating profusely out of my hands. I'm just sitting there holding onto the chair and I'm just sweating, but I just felt really, really, really loved and really warm. And I was relaying that information. And the higher self was like, Joita, you just experienced the ship. You just experienced being on the ship with us, and you just experienced the love of your ET mom and dad. And at that moment, I was like, okay, cool. And I'm getting emotional about it because it's, and I'm like, okay, wow. And at that point, I'm, still sitting, and it was still the higher self was still trying to ask me to, close my eyes and relax, but I wasn't allowing myself to surrender enough because, again, I think my emotions were so heightened. I knew that I wasn't in a place where I could fully surrender because I had responsibility to my client to make sure that she was protected and safe the whole time, even though I know that this technique is so gentle and warm, but, in that moment, I had this feeling wash over me, and this warmth and this love, and the higher self was continuing on and beginning to explain about my soul and how my soul, I was a baby ET, and I heard the call that Earth needed help, and I volunteered my soul as a baby ET to become a human and to help the human race ascend. And the most miraculous, most beautiful thing happened in this session, where the voice from the higher self switched into my ET mom. And it was so meaningful to me and so tender. And she basically came through and she said, "Joita, I am your ET mom," and shared with me that there are many other people from our family, from I'm from Sirius, the Sirian star system, that have chosen to volunteer on Earth that have lost their way. And her pleading to me, bring them back, Joita, we want our family back. And I'm like, well, how do I bring them back? And she just emphasized, it's so clear, continue doing the work that you're doing, continue to seed light, continue to help people remember who they came here to be. I've been feeling really gravitated towards, even before QHHT, I know I had this mission, and I know I want to help people remember who they are and help them love themselves, because I've said this for so many years. I truly feel that self-love is the antidote to war. Self-love is the antidote to all of the problems, because when we can fully love ourselves and fully accept ourselves and love ourselves, then we would never want to harm another, because we see another as a part of ourselves. So the information that came through my ET mom was so extraordinary. And in that moment, I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm completely crying and convulsing and in just complete awe. And the love that I felt in that moment was unlike any love that I have ever felt as a human. It was such a feeling of acceptance and understanding, profound understanding. And in that moment, I'm like, okay, like there's no going back. And Dolores Cannon actually has a quote: once the mind has expanded beyond a certain point, there's no going back. There's no unlearning what your consciousness has just revealed to you. And I am so unbelievably grateful that I had this experience and I was able to receive this information. And since then, I went and I received my Reiki mastership, a Holy Fire Reiki mastership, and I am on the track with QHHT. I'm seeing clients regularly. I would love to see you if you're in Arizona. I'm currently hosting sessions in Peoria, Arizona, and I would love to have the opportunity, if this is something that is interesting to you, because from my personal experience, the beautiful thing with QHHT is the answers continue to unfold. The answers continue to come to you. Once you open up that awareness, it's essentially opening up a dialogue with your higher self, knowing that you're not alone, knowing that you have not only a team of angels, but you might have star systems and intergalactic guides. We have many different guides. So this was just a beautiful and expansive and profound experience for me. And I just love it. I just love it. And you might be a starseed as well if you're resonating with this. If you maybe have felt like you've always wanted to go home, but you've never really known what home was. And you've always been very sensitive, and disagreements or conflict or extreme emotions don't make sense to you. You may be a starseed as well. You may be a volunteer. And to all of you who are volunteers, thank you for being here. That's so cool. It's so cool to also know that we are on the earth for like such a limited time, that we're just volunteers. Like we're just here to seed light and make people remember who they are, so we can just ascend and have this planet and have humanity be everything that it's supposed to be. Have everyone working in harmony, no competition, only collaboration. No conflict and fighting, only love and harmony. There'll be no need for secrets, because we'll be able to communicate telepathically, because we no longer want to harm each other, and we no longer have ulterior motives or malicious agendas. Like, it's pure love. And what I'm currently also feeling too is that our energy is our currency. The energy is the future. Energy healing is the future. I feel the pharmaceutical industry crumbling. I feel doctors pivoting from the machine that is this corrupt organization to more holistic, more natural, more things that are in harmony, in symbiosis, and what am I thinking? Like working in harmony with the body and not pushing against it and calling it the problem. And just, I can go off right now on like the pharmaceutical commercials. I got an alert that I ran out of phone storage, so I think that's going to be buttoning up this conversation for today. But I would love if you could leave your comments if you've had similar experiences, either as a practitioner or as a client, or if this is something that you're interested in. Please let me know, because I would love to work with you. And I thank you so much for taking the time to listen today, and I'm wishing you wealth, prosperity, abundance, good health, and joy and fun, because this ride is incredible. I love you.